Assalamualaikum, good morning. Today I will bring you the PAD120 lecturing regarding the constitutions. So I will brief you about the constitutions. Okay, the first one you must the outlines and definitions, functions, types, and supremacy of constitutions. And then you further on the constitutions of the supremacy, constitutional supremacy, and I will talk about a little bit of federalisms. Okay. So when you look on here, constitutions, you must know that every country must have the law. The law is the highest law. We must have a highest law. So this highest law we are calling about we are calling known as constitutions. Okay. So these constitutions, you must know that these constitutions that you must know that the law was enacted. The law was enacted, and then we will call it as an act. And the act are always in the constitutions. So that's another one is parliamentary. Parliamentary means that the parliament makes the law. Okay, parliament makes the law, and then this law will be enacted in the constitution. Another one is the parliament also make the policy. So the policy also will be enacted as a law. So there's two things you must know that. One is enacted as a law and then will become act. ACT. Another one is a policy. Okay. And then the source of the law. You should know that. Our source of the law is a five. The source of law is five. The first one is from Islamic law. The second one is from the common law. The third one is from the custom law. The fourth one is from our this is say that British administrations, from our British administrations. So when the time the British administrations, certain of the policy was enacted and become the law. And then the the last one is what? Number five is what? So number 5 I will give you as a job tutorial. If you want it, you go and find the source of the law. Okay. So we have a written and unwritten law. Okay. This is the types of the constitutions. Written, that means that certain things was written and passed and become enacted. Okay. So you must know that, constitutions is the highest law in federal governments. In the state, we call it enactment. In Sarawak, we call it ordinance. So this is the written law. Written law, that means that the parliament already discussed and the parliament agree and then pass it and then endorsed by the YTPA and become enacted as the act. Okay, as an act. So it's an act. Okay, and then you must know that the highest is the act. In the constitutions, the highest is the act. The lower than act is the law. Lower than law is the rules. That means that regulations, and the lower from the rules is the is what? That one you must find out. Call it what? Okay. So you must know that another things from parliament make the law, and and also they say that before independent we already make certain of the law enacted. After independence is parliamental, make the law. Clear or not? Before independence, like 1948, is a federal Malaya constitutions, 1948, and then 1957, before we are achieved the independence, we also call it Federation of the Malaya Constitutions. That means that 1948, 1957, and the third time is 1963. We call it Federation of the Malaysia Constitutions. Clear? Before independence, okay, a panels were called in by the British to draft and to make the enacted law. After independence, only parliaments make the law. Yes, but there's another one, jurisdictions. Okay, so that means that the fixed source of the law is the jurisdictions. So the jurisdictions make the law. You know why? Okay, you must understand. We have three body: executive body, legislative body, judiciary body. Okay, legislative body, we have a House of Representative, House of Senate. So these two houses in the legislative body make the law. But another one is judiciary body. The judiciary body under the judiciary power, sometimes they're doing the jurisdictions. So the jurisdictions sometimes also make the law. How they make the law? Okay, they make the law is only improvements of the law. Because there's a new case. There's a new case from, let's say that a new case than before, and then they want to enforce the law. They cannot enforce the law, so they have to make certain amendments or improvements in the law, and then they enforce it. So jurisdictions is one of the source of the law. Okay. And then the written constitutions give rise to the federal or unitary governments. This one must know that the written constitution give rise to the federal or unitary government. That means that the written constitutions give the federal government the power, certain of the power, or sharing the power between federal or unitary governments in the concepts. Let's say that in Malaysia we have a state list, federal list, and concurrent list. So in here you must know that the constitution included after this. Okay. And then how about the unwritten law? Okay, unwritten law is the common law. It's common law in Malaysia. Okay. It's common law in Malaysia. So this type of constitution not embodied in a single document, but based chiefly on custom and precedents, as expressed as in statutes and judicial decisions. That means that you must understand custom and precedent of the judicial decisions. So sometimes jurisdictions is also calling about the how about that? Sometimes the jurisdictions are calling about the written law. But when the time is going on, there will be written again. Okay, I give you examples. I give you examples. Okay, I give examples. Like one of the examples, you must know that. Okay, regarding the gender equality. Regarding the gender equality in say that gender equality in certain area. Okay, in certain areas. Okay. Let's say that how about working? How about works? Okay, today we are seeing that mostly women's going to the education, go to university, get more education. Okay, and then they are educated. More women are educated than men, and then the woman going to work, and then the men, a few of men are become a suri rumah tangga. Okay, so this is the new trends in the modern days. Before that, only men's going to work and the women staying at home. So when coming on, let's say that divorce, when coming to divorce, so the man cannot afford the women's because the men are not working, but the women are working. So this is the things that I give the examples. The jurisdictions must based on that, but we call it civil law. But you must know that the common law already stopped. Common law already stopped in before 1957. Okay, so the afterwards from 1957, everything must written. Everything must be written and debate. Okay, so the understanding of the constitution is often through reading commentary by the judiciary, government's committee or legal expert. This we call it jurisdictions. Okay, reading commentaries by the judiciary, government committee or legal experts. In such a constitution system, all these elements may be or may not be recognized by court regulations and bureaucracy as binding upon government and limiting its power. Typically written down in a variety of official documents through thought not codified in single document. Yes, thought not codified in single documents. Okay, I give you that there's a thought not codified in single document but in separate way. Okay, I give you that one. Examples is like Islamic law. Islamic law between one state to another state is sometimes difference. Like we say one hantaran. Okay, one hantaran. And then another one is the how about the women rights? Okay, this we call it sometimes in separate because Kelantan in Kedah or Kelantan in Selangor or Kelantan in Johor is differences. Okay, and a codified constitution has the advantage of elasticity, adaptability, and resilience. A significant disadvantage, however, is that controversy may arise due to different understanding of the usage and customs which form the fundamental provision of the constitutions. A new conditions or situation of government may be resolved by precedent or passing regulations. Unlike codified constitutions, there are no special procedure for making a constitutional law and will not be inherently superior to other regulations. A country with an uncodified constitution lacks a specific moment where the principle of its government were deliberately decided. Instead, they are allowed to evolve according to political and social force arising throughout its history. Okay, I will explain to you. That means that unwritten law have a advantage and also have a disadvantage. One advantage of the unwritten law, we call it adaptability, resilience, electricity. Okay. Why? Okay. Because unwritten law sometimes can adapt when the time is going on. And sometimes it's very resilient according to what happened. Okay, because times going on when the things happen it's not same like the in the past, and then it's very elastic. That means that sometimes it can be it can be flexible, sometimes can be rigid. So this is advantage of the unwritten law because it's not written, so it's according to understanding to whom who are past the jurisdictions. So people may argue why 1990, the unwritten laws are different from the 1960 because time is not same. Understanding of the certain happens issues also not same. But you must know that when the peoples are more educated, like nowadays, okay, Malaysians, okay, 90% are going to school, are educated. So you want to pass the unwritten law, cannot be, because people are more educated and they know, they want to know black and white. They want to know black and white written law. They are not agree with the unwritten law. So this is one of the disadvantage. Because this of the one of the disadvantage. Okay, so we call it a new conditions, and then the government must solve it. How to solve it? So they must make the precedent of the certain issue happen in the past, and then brought it to the parliament, and then they debate, and then they pass it, endorsed by YDPA. So when passed it, when we endorsed of the YDPA and enacted, so we are call it constitutional law. Okay, so this is what I'm explaining. Okay, explain. Okay, explain it. And then we can see that differences between the examples is Israel and Saudi Arabia. Okay, Israel have a several basic law, but you must understand they also have the Torah. So this Torah also the source of the Israel law. So what happens? Okay, when Israel was formed on 2nd October of 1948, 2nd October in 1948. Okay, they have no written law. But after 1967, after the 7 days of the war in Saudi Arabia, and then there are Israel have more Israel more peaceful, and then they write a law. So they have a 1970 they have a written constitutions. So when this happened, so certain of the issue arise from 1948 to 1967. We are Israel calling as a unwritten law. Okay, and then the second example is Saudi Arabia. Okay, Saudi Arabia has not legally binding written constitutions because one of the source of the law in the Saudi Arabia is Quran. So Quran become the constitutions. Quran is official constitutions of Saudi Arabia. So what happened? And then Saudi Arabia reform. When the Saudi Arabia reform in 1992, so some of the basic law of Saudi Arabia was reformed, taken from the Western Ink. So some of the things that also adopted by royal decree. So royal decree also become the basic law. So we know that certain of the unwritten law become the basic law in Saudi Arabia. Like what? Royal decree. Like what? They adopted from the Western law, adopted from the Western law into the Saudi Arabia. So there's a few examples of the unwritten law. And then when going on, rigid versus flexible constitutions. You say that? So we have two types of law, written and unwritten. Two types of the written and unwritten. And then the second one is a rigid and flexible, second types. So how many types is it? You must understand. You must ask me how many types. Okay, there's a more than 5 types. Okay, the first one, written and unwritten. The second one, rigid versus flexible. See that? So I just explained you again types of the constitutions. The first one is written and unwritten. The first one, written and unwritten. The second one, rigid versus flexible, or rigid and flexible. Okay, rigid. Why we call it rigid? Okay, a constitution is rigid when it cannot be changed easily, like passing an ordinary law. It means that there's a separate and distinct method or procedure for amending the constitutions, which is a very complicated and rigorous way, and not limited by the regulation alone. That means that rigid means that we cannot pass the law easily. Okay, so one of the example is U.S. constitutions. U.S. constitutions only have 13 articles, compared to Malaysia have 183 articles. So that means that U.S. constitutions have 13 of the articles. So is it true? Yes, yes, true. Do you know why? Okay, because US, the method of US is when they want passing the law, they need referendums from the peoples to agree it, and then they pass it in the parliament. So this one is very rigid, because when certain issue arise, when the US government to solve it, they have to get a agree from the people in a referendum way. Okay, saya terangkan. Dalam perlembagaan Amerika, jika mereka nak luluskan sesuatu undang-undang, mereka memerlukan persetujuan rakyat dalam referendums. We call it very rigid. So Malaysia is very flexible, because Malaysia doesn't need people agree in the referendums to pass the law. Because why? Because in Malaysia, we only need the member of parliament agree in a law, in the certain debate issue of the law, and then they pass it, and then they endorsed by the NYDPA. So Malaysia is a very flexible. See that? So flexible constitutions, no special procedure for amending such constitutions. The constitution of just need 2/3 majority vote to pass the ordinary law. Okay, sometimes to pass ordinary law in Malaysia, so just need a simple majority. Okay, because the parliament is the supreme in making law, not people like US. Okay, get me or not? Okay. Okay, supremacy of constitutions. Supremacy constitution is we call it is constitutionalism. That means that keunggulan perlembagaan dipanggil sebagai constitutionalism. Okay, why? Because you must understand that the more existence of constitutions does not guarantee that the political system is constitutional. So what happened is, the constitutions is the highest law gives the power to the executive body, give the power to legislative body, give the power to the judiciary. And Constitution also making the separations of the power. So in Malaysia, we call it the supremacy of constitutions because the constitution give the power. Another one, you must know that parliamentary making the law, we call it parliamentary supreme or parliamentary supremacy. But parliamentary supremacy only focus on the making law and give the power to executive and judiciary. Clear or not? Okay. Keunggulan perlembagaan persekutuan disebabkan dia memberikan kuasa kepada badan eksekutif, memberikan kuasa kepada badan legislatif, memberi kuasa kepada badan kehakiman. Keunggulan perlembagaan persekutuan juga menyebabkan pemisahan kuasa antara eksekutif dan legislatif dan juga menyebabkan pemisahan kuasa antara ketiga-tiga badan tersebut, iaitu eksekutif, legislatif dan judiciary. Tetapi parlimen yang membuat undang-undang juga dipanggil keunggulan parlimen atau parliamentary supremacy. Kenapa? Sebab keunggulan parlimen memberikan kuasa hanya kepada badan eksekutif dan badan judiciary, tetapi tidak memberikan sebarang kuasa kepada parlimen. There's a differences between the parliamentary supremacy and constitutional supremacy. So you must understand. So in this way, in Malaysia, we have a parliamentary supremacy, we have the constitutional supremacy. Supremacy keunggulan. Kenapa dia unggul? Kenapa constitution unggul? So the supremacy constitutions, we call it unggul because they give the power. Okay, they give the power. That's what the basic things for you to understand first. Okay, so a constitutional government can define as a one in which a constitution details the power available to each branch of the government, enshrine the rights of individual in relation to the government, and most importantly, consider any action illegitimate. Maksudnya, Constitutions dalam perlembagaan persekutuan mengatakan sebarang tindakan yang tidak ada kuasa dipanggil sebagai illegitimate. So semua benda yang mereka kena buat kena ada punca kuasa. Tanpa punca kuasa dipanggil sebagai illegitimate ataupun tidak sah. So di sini kita kena faham keesahan perlembagaan persekutuan dalam pemberian kuasa. Constitutional limits absolute power. This is achieved by placing condition on the use of the that power by declaring the sharing of power with those subject to it through a process of debate and by establishing boundary beyond which the law may not intrude. Okay, kamu kena faham apa yang dimaksudkan constitutions limits absolute power. Maksudnya constitution ini adalah rule of law. Disebabkan dia rule of law, dia ada hak dan kuasa. Okay, dia ada hak dan kuasa dia. Okay, disebabkan hak dan kuasa inilah menyebabkan rule of law, bukan do by law. Rule of law maksudnya perintah mengikut undang-undang. Perintah mengikut undang-undang bermaksud perintah mengikut kuasa yang diberikan oleh perlembagaan persekutuan. Manakala perintah dengan undang-undang or rule by law, perintah dengan undang-undang or rule by law bermaksud perintah yang mengatasi undang-undang. Dan perintah mengatasi undang-undang menyebabkan seseorang itu boleh bertindak di luar batas kuasa. Sebab tu rule by law are not included in Malaysia constitutions. Malaysia constitution is rule of law. Okay, rule of law. So because of rule of law, maka kita semua tertakluk dalam proses of debate di parlimen, debate di parlimen, dan kita perlu meluluskan sesuatu perundangan yang diluluskan supaya tidak ada yang melanggar batas kuasa. Dan kamu kena faham juga, ada kalanya kuasa ini dikongsi antara satu badan dengan badan yang lain. Okay. So ini dia katakan we call it supremacy conditions. Okay. So sekarang ni kamu dah ada berapa jenis types of the ni. The first one is what? Written, unwritten. The second one is a rigid, flexible. Rigid dengan flexible. The third one is constitutional supremacy and parliamentary supremacy. Kenapa? Sebabnya kamu kena faham, parlimen buat undang-undang dengan perlembagaan undang-undang yang sudah dibuat di dalam ada perbezaan. Okay. So seterusnya kita pergi next one. Constitutionalism asserts that public officials should exercise with unlimited authority or govern with accountability to the people. That means that constitutionalism assert that public officials should exercise with unlimited authority or govern with accountability to the people. Why? I say to you, setiap pegawai awam apabila ingin melaksanakan tugas, kena melaksanakan tugas dengan kuasa yang diberikan di atasnya. Betul. Tetapi ada satu lagi yang kamu kena faham, kuasa budi bicara. Dan kuasa budi bicara inilah masalahnya, di mana mereka ada unlimited authority. Unlimited authority. Okay. Then the individual citizen should be ensured that certain inalienable rights and liberties. Okay. Setiap individu mempunyai hak kebebasan bersuara. Betul. Tetapi mereka ada batas dan kuasa hak mereka dari segi kebebasan bersuara, kebebasan bertindak. Sebab kita rule of law. Rule of law. Okay. Clear or not? Rule of law. Okay. And then I am going to the why constitutions is important, because constitutions and politics are interrelated. And because the constitutions and politics are interrelated, so politics needs constitutions as a guideline for governing the country, where the constitutions require politics to ensure that its legal provisions are followed. So, orang politik memang memerlukan perlembagaan, tapi perlembagaan juga memerlukan orang politik, sebab kita adalah parliamentary making the law. Member of parliament is from the politicians. Clear? Okay. So I'm going here. You must know that. Okay. What is inside from? Apa yang terkandung? What is the inside of the constitutions? Okay. Special provisions attribute of the federal constitutions of Malaysia. Maksudnya kamu kena faham, ada setengah-setengah yang kamu perlu ingat dalam perlembagaan persekutuan. Declarations of Malaysia as a federation, Article 1. Uphold supremacy of constitutions in Article 4. Embrace constitutional monarchy, Article 40. Practice parliamentary democracy, Chapter 4 of is on the practice parliamentary democracy is in the articles between 40 what we call it in the federalist. Okay. Recognize Islam as a official religion, Article 3. And federations, but other religion may be practiced freely, Article 11. Eradicates separations of power in government administrations, Article 71, 73 to 79. Separations of power in government administrations, Article 71, 73 to 79. And then also in Malaysian constitutions included the social contracts. Social contract, you must understand. Okay, social contract, you must understand that Okay, what is a social contract? Okay, social contract have 5 things. Privilege of the sovereignty Malay rural, privilege of Bahasa Malaysia as the official language, privilege of Islam as official religions, privilege of Malay and Bumiputera rights, and then the last one is the citizenship of non-Malay through jus soli. So this one are being practiced in our constitutions, federal constitutions. So social contract also was being saying that practice also in the rukun negara. So you must understand, social contract is most important. Kontrak sosial telah diterjemahkan ke dalam perlembagaan persekutuan, dan social contract juga telah dipraktiskan ke dalam rukun negara. Okay. Okay, rukun negara, what's the rukun negara? Believe in God, loyalty to the kings. So you understand that. Rukun negara adalah salah satu praktik dalam perlembagaan persekutuan. Okay. So when you say mana ada social contract diterjemahkan dalam perlembagaan persekutuan. Okay, you must understand, Malay or Bumiputera special rights under Article 153. And then the sovereignty of the Malay ruler in Article 40. Okay, and then citizenship from articles. Citizenship. How about citizenship? Does anybody know? You go and find it. Citizenship, a lot was discussed in the constitutions, perlembagaan persekutuan. You go find it. So everything was included in the constitutions. So the proportional method from Malay privilege or Bumiputera privilege rights. Okay, the proportional method. Let's say that public university. Okay, public university, the formula is Malay 60%, Chinese 20%, Indian 15%, and 5% others. So that means that this method also practiced in the equities, in the project, tenders, or anything. Okay. So quota method, we call it the quota method. The quota method also practiced in civil service in Malaysia, based on 1 non-Malay equal to 4 Malay. Okay, and then the policy X methods also practiced in buying real estate or Bumiputera first policy in government tenders contracts. Okay, and then how about the constitutional amendments? You say that just now the flexible one. How the constitutional amendments? The constitutional amendments have 3 ways. One is 2/3 majority in each House of Parliament with the consent of Conference of Ruler. The first one, 2/3 majority in each House of Parliament with the consent of Conference of Ruler in the matter of what? A matter of pertaining to the power of Sultan and the administrative tax, the status of Islam in Federation, the special positions of Malay and Bumiputera, Sabah and Sarawak, the status of Malay language as official language. So this is the 4 things that need 2/3 majority in each House of Parliament with the consent of the Conference of Rural. Okay, here's the first one, the amends. The second amends. Some article of special interest of to each Malaysia may be amended by the 2/3 majority in House of Parliament, but with the consent of either Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sabah or Sarawak or both. Ini kamu kena faham. Okay, ini hanya untuk Sabah dan Sarawak. Yang tadi untuk Yang pertama tadi untuk keseluruhan Malaysia. Okay, because this only Sabah and Sarawak, and also both Sabah and Sarawak. So what's the category under this amendments? First, citizenship of person born before Malaysia Day, the constitutions and jurisdiction of the High Court of Borneo. The second one. The third one is the matter with respect to which the legislature of the state may or may not